was probably about maybe like 11, 12-ish, I want to say. Me and my pops, we stayed in DC with me and my sisters or whatever, right? And we had to switch. I had to switch schools because he would always, walk me up to like my grandma's street on Berkshire just to go to Monticello to catch the bus. That's how dedicated he was. Shout out to my pops. You know. On the subject of that, I want to say a lot of men, a lot of fathers that be there for their kids. My father was he was a widow. You know, he raised me and my sisters. By himself. So shout out to him with the help of them and raising me. Shout out to K. Ree, my pops. But back to the story, I had to switch schools. I had to go to EC. I went to Caledonia for about a month. Man, it was about a long walk. We had to walk. We call it down the hill. We walk down the hill. I'm passing McDonald's, Taco Bell, Best Steak Gyros down there. If any of y'all know Superior down the hill, y'all know what I'm talking about. Real Cleveland talk. So, we go to the Board of Education. Everything is cool. I got, switched over. So I'm like, I got to go to East Cleveland now. So it's going to be a little rough. On our way home, we walking through, I want to say Page. I thought it was Hayden. Pops told me it was Page. We walking through Page. Everything is cool. You know what I mean? Look like a dangerous neighborhood, though. Real hood, houses looking tore up. Probably, potholes in the street, everything, paint looking chipped off the houses, looking crazy, right? Grass about up to here, grass don't look cut. So we in the ghetto or the hood, however you want to say, right? Man, we walking through all of it. One of them, dog just break loose, man. I'm sitting there in shock. I'm sitting there in shock. Man, the dog get to nipping me on the back, man. My dad, he had all his papers because we coming from, me changing schools, we switching over. All his papers, he's trying to fight the dog or whatever. All the papers fell on the floor. All the papers fell on the floor, on the ground, in the ground in the middle of the street. In the middle of, hey, get back, get back. The dog ended up going away. We got out of there swiftly by the grace of God. But that just crossed my mind, Crazy times with my pops, I love my pops. Shout out to him, he in there watching some, end of the world type movies. But, I catch y'all next week. This week coming up, I got more videos, more stories, more music, I see y'all later.